There is no easy way for me to tell you this, but Florida is in trouble. But I doubt it's in trouble in the ways that you would expect it might be in trouble. I don't think there's anybody out there that is not concerned about the housing market crash that could happen. In fact, I don't think there's anybody anywhere who doesn't share that same concern. But if the potential for that crash is the main thing that everyone is focused on, then I suspect they are going to be completely blindsided by the trouble that's happening right now. As a boots on the ground operator of a high performance real estate team that is constantly making content on YouTube talking about the housing market, I get phone calls from people from all over the country, all over the state, and all over the world with questions about everything. And in an effort for this not to be a 10-hour video, I'm not going to tell you about every single conversation, but I am going to highlight the key conversations that I've had this week because I'm fielding phone calls from people who are experiencing trouble right now, which will take years to show up in housing market data. And I've read your comments, so I am going to do a deep dive analysis into the metros that exist within the state of Florida so that you understand what's happening right now in all the major metros. And while it's critical to understand what the hyperlocal market dynamics are in an area that you may be thinking about buying or selling in, the Boynton Beach homeowner who gave me a call this week couldn't care less about any of that because she just got a bill from Citizens Property Insurance for damn near $10,000. And this Boynton Beach homeowner didn't even want to be with Citizens in the first place. But she had no choice, just like many homeowners have no choice, because her previous insurer, which was Universal Property and Casualty Insurance Company, refused to issue any more policy in certain markets within the state. But this nice lady is in real trouble and she is in a total panic, which is why she called, because she had budgeted and accounted for a premium of $3,200. But now she's standing down the barrel of Citizens' gun in the form of an invoice for damn near $10,000. Her new premium is 3 times more expensive than what she had budgeted for. But she was completely oblivious to the massive increase because she pays for her mortgage, her property tax, and her insurance through an escrow account. But when she realized the new bill is damn near 10 grand, she instantly realized that she's short 4 grand. And they were completely blindsided by this new financial distress, this new trouble. And I give her a lot of credit for being so honest with me because she didn't have to give me so much detail. But the truth is, these are not wealthy individuals. And both she and her husband work, but she only makes $15 an hour. $15 an hour. And they were completely terrified about how they're going to pay this bill. They thought they might have to dip into their retirement funds. And I can promise you, they're not sitting on a massive boatload in their retirement fund. And while I'm not an accountant or a financial advisor, I suspect there's going to be some major tax penalties if they do so, which turns a bad situation into an even worse situation. But thankfully, she reached out to me and I was able to provide a solution because after I learned a little bit more, it became pretty clear to me that Citizens didn't have all the information that they need in order to bring down their premium. It was pretty clear to me that Citizens was not aware or did not take into account some of the recent things that they had done to improve the insurability of this property and reduce their premiums. And I was able to connect her with the right people and the right resources, which would significantly help her and help her stay in the house. Because if she was stuck with this $10,000 bill, chances are she would be forced to sell. But with an updated inspection and a wind mitigation inspection, Citizens dropped the premium from 10 grand to damn near 4. And depending on what your situation is, that might not seem like that much money. It might not seem like that big of a deal. But those actions saved her home. And more importantly, preserved her lifestyle so that she can still afford to live there. But Citizens Insurance is in significant financial distress. Citizens is not capitalized the right way, and they are looking to increase insurance premiums by up to 50% if the home is not your primary residence, which is no bueno for a lot of people who like to come here for the season, because non primary residents are about to pay a hell of a lot more for home insurance. But primary residents can expect an increase in their home insurance premiums by about 13%. And while that's not going to impact everybody the same way, I can tell you it does mean that Florida homeowners are in trouble if they are feeling personal financial distress, which is not going to be everyone, but it will be a lot of people. And unfortunately, there are plenty of folks right now that can afford to pay whatever these new increases are. And some of them are in trouble too.
2.5 weeks after we paid our initial premium, and just as the hurricane season had begun, we paid that $3,900. Still haven't seen a cent of it yet back. We were notified that our company had filed for bankruptcy. We contacted our agent, who got us in touch with Citizens. Citizens insisted on a roof inspection, and they told us that we required a new roof and that it would have to be constructed within 3 months. We checked with the area roofers. They told us there's a 6-month wait for materials. So it was a big catch-22. And we're sort of left holding the bag without any insurance. We're going bare. And when the senator said, Senator Berman said that Floridians are paying so much more, we'd like to be able to pay a premium, but we've got no place to go to get insurance. And that's our problem.
My heart goes out to that gentleman. But unfortunately, what he said about it being his problem is not actually true. Because if the state of Florida suffers a major devastating hurricane, and I'll self edit here, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. When the state of Florida suffers from a devastating loss caused by a hurricane, the state will step in with statewide assessments to subsidize the losses because they simply don't have the right amount of capital to cover them by assessing homeowners throughout the state, which is a long way of saying that Citizens' ass does not have to cover the check that its mouth wrote out. Instead, it will be my ass and your ass that pays the bill. And that is no bueno. And if you think that's bad, just wait, it gets worse. Because I also got a phone call this week from a real estate professional who happens to be a Condo Board Association member. And I often make the mistake of thinking that other people think like me. And I've come to learn that that is almost always never the case. But this lady called me in a total panic, and she is petrified because the Condo Association and the buildings that are a part of it need a recertification of their 40-year inspection. And they do not have the capital reserves in order to cover the roofs. And she's in a total panic because she knows the balance sheets. And she's not just terrified about the totality of the capital reserves and the fact that they don't have enough money to cover the new roofs. She's terrified because she's a real estate professional and her business has gotten decimated over the last year. She personally cannot cover the individual assessments which will be handed out due to the capital reserve shortfall. And while I'm sure she has some measure of concern for everybody else, she's really most concerned about herself because she does not have the money to pay any additional assessments. And I got news for you, she is not alone. There are lots of condo owners that are going to be hit with assessments which they can't afford, which means they're either going to have to figure it out or they will be forced to sell. And none of that is showing up in any of the housing market data that you look at today. But I can promise you it's coming. And if any of this rings true to you, if you or anyone you know has a roofing issue, and I'm talking about residential, commercial, any structure within the state of Florida requires a recertification, a 40-year inspection, or thinks they might require a new roof or roof repair, please contact me directly because I will put you in touch with someone we know, like, and trust that services the entire state of Florida. Any structure, no building is too big or too small, and save you a tremendous amount of time, energy, frustration, and money. I will connect you with the best of the best in the state of Florida. Shoot me an email or text me at